you want to see a verse where Jesus says he is God?
Yeah, go ahead.
John 8:58. Very truly I tell you, Jesus answered, before Abraham was born, I am.
So I should be able to understand from this that he's claiming to be God, right?
When God in the Bible is speaking to his people Israel, like he does this in the Old Testament as well, he doesn't say God, he says I am. I am, I am.
This is Yahya Esher Yahya. In the New Testament, there is no such thing about Yahya. It's totally absent from the New Testament. So Jesus never uses the personal name of God, which is Yahweh according to the Jew and the Christian tradition. He doesn't say that. In this verse, he says, Prim Ganeste Abrahamo Ego Eimi. Something like this. Before Abraham was, Ego Eimi. Ego Eimi is like saying I was, I am, I will be. This kind of structure of a sentence. So the same phraseology is used by some other people in the New Testament. Like if a beggar says, Ego Eimi. The church in your congregation will not explain that in that detail because they'll have a problem if they did.
Now the problem for the Muslim is that he actually runs away from the context when within the context it actually shows Jesus is claiming to be God. In John chapter 8, Jesus is discoursing with the Pharisees. And the Pharisees, which are the Jews, are arguing with Jesus on how is it possible that Jesus has seen Abraham when Abraham has been dead for 2,000 years. Which is why then the Jews say, you're not even 55 years old, yet you have seen Abraham. Jesus then replies to the Jews by saying, truly, truly I say to you, before Abraham came into being, I am. Two things Jesus is doing here. Number one, he is contrasting his mode of existence. Unlike Abraham, who came into being, Jesus never came into being and has always existed. How do we know this? Is because I am, the phrase Ikio O Mi, is used by God in the Old Testament to describe how he's eternal. In Isaiah chapter 43 verse 10, he says, you are my witnesses, declares the Lord, and my servant, whom I have chosen, that you may know and believe me and understand that I am, Ikio O Mi. Before me, no God was formed, nor shall there be any after me. Jesus is making the contrast. Unlike Abraham, who came into being at one point in time, he's claiming that he has never came into being, but has always existed, by using the word Ikio O Mi. Number two, we know that Ikio O Mi, I am, is one of God's personal names, because in the Septuagint, which John the Gospel uses, in Exodus chapter 3 verse 14, God tells Moses to call him by this very name. I am who I am. Tell the Israelites that I am, Ikio O Mi, has sent you. Which is why John chapter 8 verse 58 is the best verse to prove Jesus is God. Jesus uses one of God's personal names in the Old Testament and uses it to describe how he has always existed and has never came into being.